To make you aware, this podcast will contain conversations around mental health and well-being and could include issues of a sensitive nature. This is a podcast from Torfaen Talks CIC.
So I'm with Martin and Martin from the choir. Now, which Martin shall I go to first?
This Martin. He's
that Martin
higher
there.
ranking than I am.
So Martin, tell me a little bit about Pontnewydd Choir.
Pontnewydd Male Choir have been in existence for 120 years this year.
Wow, okay.
So that's a major celebration for us. We think it's a tremendous achievement. And it started only a few hundred yards up the road from here. We're in Able Radio. They started in the bush.
Right.
The Bush Pub, which is just about 300 yards away. So it's great to be back in Upper Cumbrae at our roots. We really look forward to our 120th year of celebration.
120 years. Now, how long have you been with the choir?
I've been with the choir almost 20 years. I was in a small male voice choir before that, called the Melatones. My father was in that choir before me.
Okay.
And I was asked to join there. I was in there for quite a long time until numbers became too small to be viable. And when I came from a party, we were staging 14 people and came here and we were staging 60 people. The difference was immense. Things have changed. COVID has changed quite a great deal for us in that we've got a membership of about 40 now. We do well to stage 30 people because we have some on long-term illness. So we are on a recruitment drive. We're very much looking for people, preferably who can sing. And if they can sing in tune and sing a part, even better.
So from one Martin to the other Martin, how long have you been part of the choir?
I joined the choir in 2000, so next year will be 25 years. I understand that Martin has given you a quick potted history of the choir, but certainly if the accent of this is on well-being, it can be the saving grace for many people, particularly when I first started the choir. It was like a group of new friends and welcomed me into the choir. Certainly that's always meant a great deal to me, and something we've tried to reciprocate with every new member that comes through the door.
What would you say then with regard to well-being? What would you say is the benefit of being in a choir?
I think from my perspective, it's just having that camaraderie, those friends that you get to know. I've been in the choir for 25 years with other people who've been here for longer than myself. Wow. You know, that's very important to me. I'm an ex-rugby man, and the choir sort of replaced the rugby camaraderie for me, you know, from my perspective.
So Ian, then you're the chair. How did you become part of the choir?
I bumped into a friend of mine walking the dog, actually, and we got into conversation. From that conversation, this gentleman was an existing chorister, and he asked me whether I was interested in joining a male choir, which I did have, actually. I always admired male voice singing. The village that I'm from has got a renowned Welsh choir. It was just that chance conversation, and I decided to take a leap of faith and join Pontnewydd, and I haven't looked back since. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a great experience.
So how long have you been a member of the choir?
I joined in 2010.
Wow, okay.
So I'm a youngster compared with some of the choristers. My only regret is that I wish I had joined them much sooner.
So Martin, tell us about the age range of this choir.
We've got an average age of 72. We could do with reducing that. We have got one or two youngsters, and we've attracted one or two youngsters in the past, but we could do with more. It does change the tone of the choir. We've got one or more in their 90s, would you believe?
Wow.
So once you're in the choir, it's something you can do for the rest of your life. Quite a range. range of ages, but we are looking to attract younger people.
Earlier we were talking about the benefits of singing. What would be that benefit?
The benefits are great. I think when you finish work, especially, that's a challenge. When you finish playing sport, maybe, that's another challenge. So this, male voice singing, is a challenge. That's how I look at it. Because not only have you got to be able to sing, you've got to be able to learn words and the part. And so that is a challenge, but the reward then is the overall sound, especially when you sing in large parties. This party at one stage 80, so we're down, we do well to stage 30 or 35 now, still a really good sound. But we have sung at places like the Royal Albert Hall, St David's, Cardiff, and the sound there when you get anything up to 800 is incredible. It really does send tingle down the back of your spine.
Here's a kind of a big question. What is your favourite music to sing?
There's such great traditions in Welsh no voice singing. Welsh choir, hymn tunes are great. They've got the difficulty of learning Welsh, but some people can speak Welsh as their first language, as our chairman. Which is great. So we don't have a problem having Welsh taught to us because he's expert at that. So I like Gwaharddiad. There's some excellent spirituals. We're learning one or two new ones now. And they're just any lively music that our audience particularly enjoy. It's so nice to get a great response from our audiences.
What really gets audiences going?
Well, I think that's a difficult question, actually, because in terms of our audience, there is an expectation from a proportion of that audience to hear traditional Welsh male voice singing.
Yeah.
There's an expectation. They expect some of the really great Welsh hymns to be sung. Maybe softer songs like Mafanwy, for example, another very popular song that is requested, or there's an expectation that male choirs will offer that as part of their repertoire. Picking up what Martin says, equally there's an element of the audience then that's looking to have that enjoyment, that bit of spiritual uplift as well. So Martin's quite right in what he's saying in terms of having a lively element in our repertoire, and maybe an expectation as well from the audience to hear some of them with maybe, for example, songs from musical theatre or some pop songs. Basically, there's a challenge in terms of, I think, our repertoire, what we include in our programme for a particular event. We would like to try and broaden our audience and appeal to different sections of that audience and give them something that satisfies that expectation, if you like.
So no Ed Sheeran anytime soon. Okay.
That's a possibility.
Is it? Okay.
We are looking to modernise, and that's one genre of music we've considered.
Definitely look forward to that. Martin, what about your favourite song to sing?
Well, actually, a little bit of a modernist, I guess, in the choir, really, because I sense our audience is dwindling. They become older, like us, in the choir, and I feel that we really need to change from some of the traditional stuff. I love the Welsh. I'm a massive fan of the Welsh stuff. I also like some of the spiritualist stuff, but I think we have to be modernising. Like, incidentally, at the moment we are doing a Billy Joel number, which I think is probably our newest song, I would suggest. Wow. I'd like to indulge in a bit of Ed Sheeran, as you suggested, Patrick, and I think to attract some new people, some younger people into the choir, I think we're going to have to change the repertoire quite dramatically from my perspective,
What would you say to somebody who's thinking about joining the choir? Because I suppose it can be quite daunting coming into a new batch of friends, I suppose.
Yes.
What would you say to them?
Don't at all feel daunted by it or threatened or frightened, because you'll have such a lovely welcome that I mentioned earlier, and the fact that we are open to what these new people could suggest that we could sing, that they feel they can bring to the choir, bring to the party. I think the word daunting is exactly what I said, but there's no need to use that word really, because we're a big family, we're very, very friendly, all the guys get on well, we have some fantastic trips. It's just one positive process that never mind what age you are, there's just nothing but positive empathy everywhere around you.
Finally, to Martin, how can people get in touch? How can they become part of Pontnewydd Male Choir?
They contact me initially. My contact number, my email address is on the website, We're on Facebook, or simply come along here to Nanpran. We practice on a Tuesday and Friday. The building is open from 7. We start practice at 7:30 till 9 o'clock. We look forward to seeing anybody who's interested.
Martin, Ian and Martin from Pontnewydd Male Choir, thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Far beneath the bitter snows lies the sea that with the summer in the spring becomes the road.
My, what a way to start the show. Oh, brings a tear to your eye. A male voice choir and, oh my goodness, amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. The Pontnewydd Male Choir with Bette Midler's of the Rose and Callan Larn too.
Oh, you just can't beat a male voice choir. You really can't.
Just can't, no.
And as they were saying, they're always open to new members. So males, get your vocal warm-ups ready.
Absolutely.
And give them a shout if you fancy joining a choir. It's a month for men,
very,
isn't it?
very busy month. Every single episode that we do, it's a very busy month for some reason or another.
Yeah.
This month is no different.
This month is no different, and this is when the more traditional November becomes Movember. So yeah, just an important month for men's health in general. Right, yeah. So many international days within November, obviously because Movember, which takes up the whole of the month. People are encouraged to grow their moustaches and their beards and raise money. It is mostly for prostate.
It is based around prostate cancer research, yes.
Yes, yeah. And we are going to hear from the lovely Di from prostate cancer. And he's going to share how prostate cancer, the organisation, got started, the symptoms to look for, and just raising awareness for your own and recognising those symptoms in others. So here's Di.
Di, can you tell me a bit about Prostate Cymru's mission and how does it support men with prostate cancer in Wales?
Absolutely, yes. The charity was founded 20 years ago by a guy called Ray Murray. He was coming home from retirement celebration in London on the train, and he went into what's called retention, and I'll explain that a bit later. But he went straight to casualty in Bridgend, and Andy Thomas, one of the foremost urologists in Wales, put a catheter in for him, and they started chatting, and Andy explained that Ray had benign swelling and that there was a really revolutionary new treatment called green light laser treatment, but the NHS couldn't afford it. So Ray and Andy set up the charity 20 years ago on that basis, and they raised money to get a green light laser machine for Bridgend Hospital. The charity then sort of evolved into helping the NHS where they needed it, and into educating men of the risks of prostate cancer so that they can catch it early, because if they catch it early, it's 98% curable. So after the green light laser machine, we started trying to get a robot in for Wales, and we pursued that, and eventually in 2014, Cardiff got its robot, helped by the charity. We couldn't afford to fund it totally, but we made sure the Welsh Government knew all of it. But what we did do to help was we actually paid for the training of the surgeons to use the robot, as the NHS didn't have the budget to do it. So from these beginnings of helping the NHS where the NHS couldn't quite afford to do what it was doing with men's health, we went on to education, and now we fund research, and the charity has grown now to be the foremost prostate charity in Wales.
What kind of initiatives that Prostate Cymru, can you tell me more about what they've been involved in recently?
The most recent thing was the training of the surgeons for the robot. But we are very active on fundraising. We do the big walk from Cardiff to Bridgend, and various other we've got grants for training students to study PhDs in urology, because we need more good urologists to be able to treat men. So the charity is very active in making sure that the research and the talent is attracted into urology so that men can be looked after properly.
How does Prostate Cymru raise awareness about prostate health? And I suppose it is a big challenge about encouraging men to get screened, isn't it?
Absolutely. I am head of awareness for Prostate Cymru. And so we offer free workplace talks to all big organisations, any organisation, as long as you can get 20 or 30 men together. We've got a whole team of volunteers right across Wales who will come and give a 25-minute talk. Now, this 25-minute talk educate men on what their prostate is, because 70% of men don't even know what their prostate is, never mind what problems it can give them later on in life. And so this 20-minute presentation is very much the tool with which we disseminate the knowledge. And the thing that everybody needs to know is that benign swelling, which is what the founder of the charity was suffering from, 60% of men at the age of 60 will have a slightly swollen prostate. And basically it presents with symptoms of wanting to wee a lot, and it's worth having it treated because it can lead to complications. So most men will get benign swelling in their lifetime. They need to know what it is, and they need to take action about it. Prostate cancer is a different kettle of fish. Your chances of getting prostate cancer are 1 in 8 if you're a white Caucasian. They're 1 in 4 if you're of Afro-Caribbean descent. And it's 1 in 3 if you've got any family link. Now, my dad died of prostate cancer, and I had no idea I was 1 in 3, but I found out by sheer accident because Cardiff were advertising for volunteers to do research into prostate cancer. I was a rugby referee. I was fit as a fiddle. My hubris was such I went in to show these boys how not to get prostate cancer. 2 weeks after all the tests for the research, I get a phone call. Professor Kinnison here from Cardiff University, Mr. John. Oh, what the hell do you want? Mr. John, I'd like you to come in because you've got a high PSA. I did loads of tests on me. I was in on a Monday, out on a Tuesday with a robotic operation. This is the robot I referred to earlier that Wales didn't have. I had to go to Bristol for this operation. And the cancer came out 2 weeks later, and I've been right as rain ever since. That was when I was 56. I am now 68. I'm still running 6 miles before breakfast most mornings, and everything is absolutely working fine. I've got no side effects at all. So the message is, it's worth getting tested. Now, to get tested, you've got to go to the GP and demand the PSA test. Now, the PSA test is not without some controversy. It misses about 15% of early stage cancers, and indeed it overreads by about 30%. So it's not the be-all and end-all, and will not be made a screening test. But at the moment, it's the only thing we've got, and the only way to get it is to go to the GP after the age of 50 if you've got no family history, or after the age of 45 if you have. And then repeat that test once every couple of years, or once every year if you've got a family history, to make sure you're being monitored. So you stand a better chance then of catching it in the early stages when it's 98% curable, stage 1. If it gets to stage 4, and obviously the stage 2 and 3 in between, it's palliative care. It's spread from the prostate into the lymphatic system, into the rest of the body, and it cannot be cured. Whereas in stage 1, it's 98% treatable. So it's one of those best kept secrets of society, which is unfortunate, but men should have this knowledge so that they can take appropriate action.
It's about early intervention, I suppose, isn't it? Because what resources and support services does Prostate Cymru offer to patients and also to their families too?
Yes, we've got a live phone line, which we've got a very experienced urological nurse, and anybody can phone that line. If you go onto prostatecymru.com, you can see the number, and anybody who's worried about their health or their prostate, that's the number to ring, and Gaynor will phone you back and we'll have a long chat with you. And I reassure you or give you good advice as the best way forward, given your concerns.
Earlier you were talking about retention. What exactly does that mean?
Right, retention is one of the rare but severe effects of benign swelling. The prostate is a walnut-sized gland at the base of the bladder, and it is functionally, it's all about reproduction and control of the penis. Now, the semen are made in the testicles. They migrate through the deferens into the side of the prostate, and the prostate stores 3 months worth of semen. And basically, when a man changes from excretion to reproduction, the nerves and blood vessels around the prostate close a valve at the base of the bladder to stop any urine coming, and it shuts down another valve at the base of the penis, pumps harder, and basically a man is now ready to reproduce. And when a man ejaculates, the prostate goes into spasm, it forces the white fluid in the semen up to the penis so a man can reproduce. And it's not just men, it's all mammals based. Similar principle, the prostate is there everywhere. So that's what it is, and that's what it does. And the retention happens when this walnut-sized gland gets so big, the tube, the urethra to the outside wall, goes right through the middle of the prostate, and the swollen prostate squeezes that tube and swells into the bladder. So it actually blocks the pipe that you wee through. Now, the kidneys, which are pumping urine into the bladder, couldn't give a chuff how full the bladder is. There's no feedback mechanism from there. So it's basically agony. You're absolutely busting for a wee, and you need to do something about it. You need to go straight to A&E and get a catheter inserted to drain the bladder. Now, it's worth having this knowledge, because it's something it's quite rare. But if it does happen, you need you or one of your friends, you need to know exactly what to do.
Now, you were talking earlier about the talks you give to companies. Now, how can people and communities get involved with Prostate Cymru, either through volunteering, fundraising, or spreading awareness?
Well, the best way is to go on the website, because we've got a team of people in Cardiff in head office who will respond to any info at prostatecymru.com. Just send your queries or your desires to get involved and help us to that particular website, and you will get a response from our team in Cardiff to explain exactly what you need to do, either to get a talk, which are free. They're very amusing. They're not just a clinical diatribe. They explain exactly what the prostate is and what it does. They get the men involved, and then it goes on to explain the dangers and what you need to do about it. The fundraising side of it, there's a team of people who organize all the big events, and if you want to volunteer to get involved, they will get hold of you and get you engaged with the team.
Di from Prostate Cymru, thank you for talking to us today.
Great pleasure. Of all the men who listen to this, or indeed any ladies who listen to this, will spread the word. Remember, 1 in 8 or 1 in 4 or 1 in 3. It's not long odds, and all it is a simple blood test. But you have to overcome the hurdles of getting to see the GP and getting that test done. But it's well worthwhile. Get it at stage 1, it's 98% curable. Stage 4, it's probably not.
Perfect. Thank you, Di.
If you'd like to be involved in the podcast, please message or voice note on WhatsApp. Our number is 07851 138 610. And thank you, Di, for that. That was just a really important message around prostate and taking notice and recognising and being aware of the changes in your body.
Yeah.
Such an important message there from prostate cancer. So thank you, Di, for sharing. And that sort of leads us now onto another sad statistic, really, when it comes to male health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not only was it International Men's Day.
That's right.
In November, and it's November.
Yeah.
There is also Supporting Male Survivors of Domestic Abuse Day, and that was on the 7th of November. There are such sad statistics around males living in an abusive relationship, and we speak to the lovely Jody from Jonathan's House.
Yeah, I set up Jonathan's House last year. Jonathan's House is a helpline and an organisation that's set up to help male victims of abuse. Abuse can cover anything from domestic to financial to spiritual to sexual to childhood abuse, so we are there for male victims of that.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what sort of thing you kind of cover and help support?
Through our helpline is a 24/7 helpline, and that is open for men to be able to call in and ask for help. We will listen to men. Men can talk as long as they want. We try not to use the word victim. Abuse is an experience you go through.
Yes.
And our life doesn't have to be defined by one negative experience. We can move on and go on to a more positive experience. So that's what we try to do through our helpline, is when men call in, we try to leave them with some hope that actually things can get better.
Yes.
And we'll put things in place to help that. So a lot of the time men who call in are dealing with feelings of isolation, rejection, guilt and shame. So we try to work with men to get through those 4 feelings, try and help them not to feel so isolated from society, help them to know that their story is not rejected. They're not rejected, they're accepted for who they are, and then we deal with the guilt and the shame. and a lot of the times men are feeling guilt and shame for things they thought they deserved, but they never did. They're feeling guilt for something that was done to them, not by them. And so through the helpline, that's the first step into our services.
It's a stigma, isn't it, I suppose, for men, number one, men with mental health, but then if mental have suffered any kind of abuse, it's one of those things that men don't talk about anyway, but adding the layer of abuse like that is different again, isn't it?
Yeah. So statistically, in England and Wales, it's 1 in 3 men.
Wow.
Who have gone through abuse. Historically, it used to be 1 in 6, but now it is 1 in 3. It is 1 in, I think it's 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 men who have gone through sexual abuse. And one of the startling statistics that I read, that if a man had gone through sexual abuse as a child, he's 10 times more likely to make a suicide attempt. The need for something like Jonathan's House, especially in Wales, where there isn't much support for men. No. Because men need help, especially in areas like Torfaen, where there is higher rate of poverty. There is more lack going on. There's not much going on in work-wise, not much going on for education. When you have a look at men, I think around one of the statistics I saw, it was about 450,000 plus young men who are no longer in education, no longer not able to find work, not able to get into higher education because they didn't meet standards. And then you'll put onto the top of that, there's some abuse going on. Or you go into the homeless levels. I think it's 96% of the homeless population in the UK is men. And we dial that down to 87% of those are actually victims of abuse. And the reason why on the streets is because A, there was nowhere for them to go. Social housing won't put them into a house because they believe the domestic abuse bill only applies to women. If a family was to go to refuge owned domestic abuse shelter for women, if she had a boy over the age of 13, he would either be put into social services, into another family member, or if he hasn't got any of that, he'll be put onto the streets. This is what faces men, and especially male victims of abuse, from the age of 13. So the need for Jonathan's House.
I think you're all about breaking down the barriers, not just about for men to be able to talk, but I think also for men to realise that they are supported too.
Yes, yeah. As you know, men don't have an issue with talking.
No.
They have an issue being listened to.
Right, yes.
And I think in the past, society have slightly got deaf to the cries from men, and men will ask for help. Men have been asking for help, but those cries don't always get heard, and sometimes society hasn't got their facilities to help those cries for help. And it's what I'm eager to do is to create enough safe spaces for men to be able to feel like I'm going through a really bad period, but I know there's someone where I can be listened to.
If somebody's listening to this now, what would you say to them?
There are probably 2 different people listening to this podcast. So you'll probably have men who are listening, men who they're in a situation in a relationship. For me, I was in a domestic abusive relationship. It took me 3 years after that relationship ended for me to realise actually I was in an abusive relationship.
Wow, okay.
Because I'm a man, I didn't think I could ever be abused.
Yeah, no, true.
And so, but actually, as I was talking about it, my friends were going, that's abuse. If that happened to a woman, would you stand for it?
Yeah.
No. So a lot of guys, I think, so if you feel like your finances, have a look at your finances. If your finances are not being spent the way you feel like they're being spent, there's probably someone controlling them. If you feel like your friendship control, the amount of times you're seeing friends, if that's being limited, there may be some coercive abuse going on. Or maybe your wife is holding religion against you, saying, oh, if you do that, I'm going to report you to the pastor. That's known as spiritual abuse.
Wow.
So there's many different degrees of abuse. So if you're you're a guy and listening to us, there is people out there to help. That's why I love being part of the Torfaen guys. You know, we're linked up with so many different organisations like Torfaen Talk who are there to listen, and so it's important that we have these networks so that when someone comes in asking for help, we all work together. But the other type of people who are listening, or maybe mums, sisters, and friends who are noticing something happening to their friend and are not quite sure what is going on. They're not entirely sure, hang on, if I say something, am I going to lose a friend?
Yes, yeah.
And the thing is, that's what we're here for too. So if you need any advice, you can call us and we will help and we'll support you find the help that your friend needs.
What does success look or sound like for Jonathan's house?
In the ideal world, it would be that abuse is gone from the world.
Yes.
But that's not going to happen. It's to see that that abuse is no longer seen as a gender-biased crime, that governments will see both female victims and male victims in the same light, that both deserve the same support. So at the moment you have a system called Violence Against Women and Girls, which was very much needed because women need support. They need help, and female victims. I think that's the news story I saw today saying there's a national emergency. So there's about 2 million women have been abused. So that's quite a lot. So they needed to bring in this organisation called Vogue. But for the last 15 years, male statistics have been put into Vogue. So when you ask for correct statistics from men,
yes,
there isn't much. So if you remember the documentary Baby Reindeer,
yes,
he is classed as a woman. His statistic is classed as, if you are groomed, if a 13-year-old boy is groomed, for the last 15 years those statistics have been included in Vogue. If you remember My Wife, My Abuser, the documentary, he is classed violence against women and girls. So success for Jonathan's house would mean that actually there's something in government standing that's actually there to support men.
Yeah.
So at the moment, when you go for Jonathan's house, can't get central government funding, but there is central government funding available. £300 million for funding for domestic abuse services. 57,000 of it went to a male service, all the rest went to women's services. And that's not saying that women's services don't need it, but if statistics were collected properly,
yes,
there would be an equal share, which would mean all victims of abuse would be equally supported.
Yeah, there's an imbalance obviously there.
Yeah, and that's what we need. So we need to see, so when a boy at the age of 14, he doesn't have to wait 20 years to get a full disclosure. He can actually have a service that's there, available for him to disclose quick. So he gets justice for what's happened to him, but also he gets the support to move on, so he doesn't have to walk around for up to 20 years. Actually, one statistic I saw could be up to 28 years of carrying the guilt of being and the shame of being abused as a 14, 15-year-old kid. And then, as you probably know, those sort of feelings will probably link up to alcohol addiction, drug addiction, and so these all things are all linked, or there could be a life of crime that he could have got into. How many prisoners are in our prison who are actually a victim of childhood abuse?
Yes.
And the statistic I do have, but not with hand, but it's quite high. And so the success would be they were able to help younger boys find the support they need before they need to wait till they're in their 50s or 60s.
Yes.
And that would be, I would love to see as many of those around Wales, so it becomes a social norm
yes,
that men know it's there.
How do people get in touch?
So we have our website, which is www.jonathanshouse.org.uk, and on there you'll find our web chat. You can talk to us for our website. We have a Jonathan's House Ministries Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. They're all connected up to our web chat, so you can contact us through any of those channels if you don't want to talk to us, and because we know that it can be a very hard thing to do.
Absolutely.
To make that first call. So we are aware that you can sometimes it's easy just to send a text message saying, help me.
Jody from Jonathan's House, thanks for talking to us today.
That's all right, thank you very much.
That was Jody there from Jonathan's House. Such food for thought, really.
Absolutely.
There. But yeah, if you are a male and you're in a domestic abusive relationship, or if you know of a man that's in that situation, then they do have a helpline at Jonathan's house.
That's right, yeah.
So I'm going to note that now if you want to write it down. So it's 0800 524 4202.
And they also run a support group at Nodford Church, I think, on Saturdays. If you want more information, it'll be on their social media on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, that's in Abersoch and Nodford Church.
That's right, yes, yeah.
So that leads us on to what an episode.
What an episode this has been, from choirs to prostate cancer to, male domestic abuse to, every episode we've done been completely different. This one's no different either.
Absolutely different. And also just highlighting how much support is out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's sad to hear that people need that support, but how incredible is it that the support is on our doorstep?
Yes.
It literally is on the doorstep of Torfaen. You will find someone in the south, in the north. There's always that available support there. And talking of supportive people...
Well, and this takes us back now, because November, we said earlier, it's Movember.
Yeah. And we've also got International Men's Day.
That's right.
So for Movember and International Men's Day, the amazing communities team of Torfaen Council have been getting involved.
Oh, wow. Who do we know has been taking part?
Growing amazing moustaches and beards.
That's right, yeah. For the month itself.
I know Corey is.
Corey, that's right, yeah.
I know Joel.
Yep.
Gordon. And the lovely Maurice.
That's right, yeah. And Maurice as well, apparently.
I know he's Morris, but we call him Maurice.
But his wife has said he looks like Luigi from Super Mario Brothers.
Oh.
Mario!
Oh, bless him. And Richard from Gansacre is doing it, yeah. And I know so many people who are getting involved. I know it's getting colder and people are just growing their beards anyway.
Yes.
Just to not feel the chill on their cheeks, I think. But yeah, I've seen some fantastic beards and moustaches.
And before anybody asks, no, I haven't. We've seen photos of me when I was a little bit younger and I tried to do a beard. It ended up like a goatee. It's a no. It's definitely a no. So, yeah, with the mo, I'll let everybody else go.
It's a no to the mo.
It's a no to the mo for me, Mo.
And we'll donate just for the no.
Yeah, we will.
Those guys from the Torfaen Communities team, they really got involved and they did a Pontnewydd Park walk,
yeah.
They as well. Right. So yeah. I believe there's still time to raise money for Movember, and any bit of that goes towards men's health.
That's right,
prostate usually is the key one, but it's overall men's health that is the important message of November and Movember. Yeah. Which leads us on to our news.
Our news from Movember, we go into December, heading into the end of the year. Because starting on the 2nd of December...
Which is our launch day.
Which is the launch day of Menspace, which Menspace is all about connections, camaraderie, and a cuppa.
Just, connection, isn't it? Like, connection is so important. And I think it's vital for men to talk with men. So many people, this is when I feel sorry for my dad, because my dad is surrounded by women. So he doesn't really get into much men. I think that's what's important, and that's why we've collaborated with Four Minds.
And Men's Marauders RCT.
Yeah, they do loads of great walks.
They do, yeah.
The walking and talking for men's mental health and well-being. So they're going to be part of it. So this collaboration is so important, isn't it? Cherie is amazing from Four Minds.
I think, I've met Cherie probably a handful of times. And obviously the last time was at the event of Rodney Parade. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a force of nature.
She is, and the passion that she has to raise awareness of
definitely.
Men's mental health and to encourage them to open up, to talk. Doesn't have to be about their emotions and feelings or anything like that, but that connection to realise what that does for you and your well-being. She's so passionate about creating that awareness. And we want those men that are going to be coming to that group to tell us what they want from the group. It's not about us dictating what they want, what we feel they need. We want them to tell us, this is what I'd like from this space. And it's going to be a great time. So it's going to be run on Mondays, weekly. We're looking at a 4 till 7.
That's right.
So So those that are in work can also kind of maybe pop along to the last couple of hours,
as you're kind of finishing work. If we also wanted organisations to come along as well a little bit for their staff to come along, and also people who finish work at the end of the day to be there too.
The most reasons why is to put it in Carmarthen Hall, so in between Abersychan and Blaenavon on that main road. Community hall there is such a well-situated place because it's mostly on people's way home from work
exactly.
or to somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know, it's on that main run. We really hope that people will drop in and use it, and men gain a lot from that space. So as you know from being around this area, like the north of Torfaen has huge amounts
amazing
of walks.
Brilliant.
As does the south of Torfaen,
Yeah.
but the north of Torfaen especially, because we're so close to the Brecon Beacons. We think that they're going to be ending their walks there and have a cup of tea and a custard cream maybe.
Yeah, custard creams. Oh, okay.
I promised something, don't I?
We need to deliver with the custard creams,
We need to deliver with custard creams. So that's going to be Monday, the 2nd of December, and then they will be weekly, 4 till 7. But on Monday the 2nd...
This is exciting stuff.
It's the launch.
We've been teasing this on socials for a good couple of weeks.
I know. I think they think an astronaut's going to turn up at this point. If not, I'm expecting it to. Our launch day of Menspace is going to be from 2:30, and it's going to go on until 7. So people will have chance to come. But for the first hour and a half, we've got the lovely guys from G&G Barbers. And they're offering their time. So they're going to do an hour and a half, and they're going to offer anyone that's been taking part in Movember, firstly, the beard trim. Let's get rid of it. So they're going to offer the free beard trim. They're also offering the chance to win a hamper up to the price of £50.
That is
I know,
awesome.
It's a big deal.
That's awesome. Love that.
They're going to do a competition of the best beard / tash, and they're going to be judging that. So it's a huge thing to be part of.
Absolutely. I'm looking for that already. And I'm
It's a bit too late to start growing now.
I could have... See, now, if I thought this through properly...
So that's going to be a huge thing. So thank you for G&G Barbers for getting involved with that. I know they're just as excited as we are, because they're all about having conversations and men opening up and talking. Right. You know, barbers, my God, unpaid therapists, a lot of them, as are hairdressers. So if you don't have to be just male on for the launch, females can come along to that as well.
Everybody is welcome. Come along just to, have a chat really about, we can tell you what's going to be happening. If you wanted to learn more, or if you want to bring a friend along, you know.
It's all about spreading the word of that space being there for men from the 2nd of December on a Monday. But we're really excited for it.
We are. Nervous, but very excited.
Very nervous. Very excited. It's just lovely to see something in the north of Torfaen.
It is,
I know for me it is. That's a big deal for me.
And I think the time of day as well.
Yes, we wanted to try to have, it's there for people who maybe are not in work, and also those who are in work. So we're trying to cover it, that it's 4 till 7. You don't have to be there for the 3 hours. You can just turn up for 10 minutes. You can turn up for the 3 hours. You can turn up at any time. It's absolutely fine.
Pop along, have a cuppa, have a chat.
So that brings Movember to a close.
Wow, that's been probably the busiest month. So it's
Next stop, Christmas.
Next stop, Menspace in Carmarthen Village Hall. On a Monday night, 4 till 7.
Hopefully see you there.
See you there.
If you'd like to be involved in the podcast, please message or voice note on WhatsApp. Our number is 07851 138 610. This is a podcast from Torfaen Talks CIC.